He understood that his master had not said his last word, means he will definitely try once more. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in. But this time, not the ironmaster. He had sent his daughter, and he was apparently hoping that she would have the better powers of persuasion than he himself. Means he was not able to convince him, but his daughter will definitely convince him. You can see there are three questions here. What made the peddler think that he had indeed fallen into a trap? So you can write here that he was caught in the jungle and there he was not able to come out, and at that point the money which he had stolen, to that he considered as bait, and felt like he is fallen into the same rat trap. Why did the ironmaster speak kindly to the peddler and invite him home? Because he considered him his old friend. Why did the peddler decline the invitation? Because actually he was not that captain to whom he was taking as his friend. He was a thief, he was a peddler, and he thought that if I will go there, I might be caught. So let us continue. She entered, followed by a valet, carrying on his arm a big fur coat. She was not at all pretty, but she looked very modest and quite shy. In the forge, everything was just as it had been earlier in the evening. The master blacksmith and his apprentice trainers still sat on their bench, and iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. The stranger had stretched himself out on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head and his hat pulled down over his eyes. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, she went up and lifted his hat. The man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. He jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. So the father here came to convince him and he said, I don't want to go. And after that, the daughter came, the ironsmith's daughter came, and the peddler was trying to sleep, but when he saw her face, he was quite frightened. The young girl said, my name is Edla Will Manson, and my father came here and he wanted you to come to our house. He does not want you to sleep here in the forge. Captain, you are having such a hard time, and because you are the old friend, you are the captain, so you should go with me. She looked at him compassionately with her heavy eyes, and then she noticed that the man was afraid. It was an offer, but the man was afraid. So she at once understood that either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from jail. She thought and added quickly that if he has done anything like that, so please be sure, Captain, you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. Only please stay with us till Christmas evening. So as you have seen that the father was not able to convince, but the daughter was really very smart and she understood that he might have stolen something or something wrong he has done. She said this in such a friendly manner, but she spoke very nicely, and the rat trap peddler, he got confidence in her. It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me Accepted the fur coat which the attendant handed him with a deep respect, threw it over his rags, followed the young lady out to the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. The blacksmiths were very confused there. But while he was riding up to the manor, he had evil forebodings. He had evil predictions because he had stolen money. Why the devil did I take that fellow's money? Now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. So it is all happening because of that money, and today I am also trapped. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpectedly. So the ironmaster he came and he was very satisfied that he has found his old friend. First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones. He was so weak that he told his daughter that he should be given food so that he can get a little flesh on his bones. And then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat trap. So he suspected that his old friend was a captain. He is now selling rat traps for livelihood because he met with some um, bad days, and that's why now he is selling rat traps and he is in such dirty clothes. So, my dear students, this way, due to the mistaken identity, the rat trap seller, the vagabond, he was considered as a captain and he is given such a nice welcome and treated as a guest. It is queer that things have gone downhill with him as badly as that. Last night I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. Means he is telling to his daughter that when I found this man, I could not believe that he can be the same educated captain. You must have patience, my little girl. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will find him something different. Last night he was naturally embarrassed. The tramp manners will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. It's the time he will once again dress up and he will do shaving, he will be clean, and the same time he will start behaving properly. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. Yes, now he was really clean and well dressed. The attendant, the valet, had bathed him, cut his hair, shaved him, and he was now looking good in the suit of clothes which belonged to the ironmaster. He was wearing a white shirt, starched collar, and whole shoes. In the previous paragraph, I said it is queer that things have gone downhill. It was said by the daughter. Last night, I did not think there was anything about him. Means the daughter was suspecting, and that's why she told her father that he was not looking like educated man. But although his guest was now so well groomed, the ironmaster did not seem pleased. He was not happy to see him because he was not the same man. He looked at him with anger, and it was easy to understand that when he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection from the furnace, it was a mistake. But that now, when he stood there in a broad daylight, there was no chance of mistake that he was not his old acquaintance. does this mean? The stranger made no attempt to dissimulate. He saw at once that the splendor had come to an end. So the stranger had understood that he is caught. It is not my fault, sir. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader. And I begged to be allowed to stay in the forge, but no harm has been done from my side. At worst, I can put on my rags away and go away. This much only I can do if you want me. Well, it was not quite honest either. So now the ironmaster was a bit hesitating, but he said that it was not, to be honest, from your part. You must admit that. And I should not be surprised if the sheriff, the police, would like to have something to say in the matter. So, in one way, he threatened him that he will inform the police. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist. Now, I am going to tell you, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are. The tramp, he was not threatened by the fear of sheriff. Rather, he said, I am going to tell you, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are. In a very confident way, he said, this whole world is nothing, but it is a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but like cheese, rinse, and bits of pork, which is used as a bait in rat trap, set out to drag a poor fellow into trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Ironmaster, must remember that a day may come when you yourself may want to get a big piece of pork, and then you will get caught in the trap. This was so loud that the ironmaster began to laugh. That was not so badly said, my good fellow. Perhaps we should let the sheriff alone on Christmas Eve. And I think after this sentence, the ironmaster was, his mood was a bit changed, and he said that I am not going to call the sheriff. But now get out of here as fast as you can. But just as the man was opening the door to go out, the daughter stopped him. I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go. And with that, she went and closed the door. The father was not happy with this. He said, what in the world are you doing? The daughter was quite embarrassed. He could not answer her father. That morning she had felt so happy when she thought how home-like and Christmassy, having feelings of Christmas, she was going to make things for the poor, hungry, rich. She could not get away from the idea all at once, and that was why she had spoke on behalf of him, on behalf of the vagabond. The young girl replied, I am thinking of this stranger here. He walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. Wherever he goes, nobody likes him. Afraid of being arrested and cross examined. I should like to have him enjoy one day, a day of peace with us here, just one in the whole year. The ironmaster mumbled, he muttered something, but he allowed. He could not bring himself to oppose her. It was all a mistake, of course, but anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here like a guest. The ironmaster said, you do preach worse than a parson. I only hope you won't have to regret this. Miss, this man, he told a lie, so he may do something wrong. The young girl took the stranger by the hand. She said to sit down and eat. The man with the rat trap said no, not a single word. He sat down, helped himself to the food. Time after time, he looked at the young girl who had spoken on behalf for him. Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? That was the question in his mind. He was surprised. Christmas Eve at Ramjo passed just as it always had. The stranger did not cause any trouble because he was doing nothing, only sleeping. The whole forenoon he lay on the sofa, one of the guest rooms, and slept at one stretch, means a deep sleep. At noon they woke him up so that he could have his share of the good Christmas fare, but after eating that he slept again. It seemed like he has got a chance to sleep after many years. Such a sound sleep, such a quiet sleep. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again. He stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking as though the candlelight hurt him. But after that, he once again slept. He disappeared, means slept. 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room for eating the dinner. That was Christmas fish and porridge. As soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said thank you and good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention. It was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. He did not have to return it. And if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in a place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back again. The man with the rat trap did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl. The words said by the young girl, that was totally a new experience for him because he has told a lie, and the way he is being treated here, it seems like he is a real guest. He only stared at her. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter they got up early and they went to Christmas service. Their guest was still asleep and they did not disturb him. So here you can see the behavior of the girl, young girl, how she was treating him so nicely even after the truth which was revealed that he is not the same man, the captain to whom her father brought. Then also, just for the Christmas, she wanted him to give a special treatment. What made the peddler accept Edla Wilmanson's invitation? So now you can see there are 5 questions, inside questions. So what made the peddler accept? So it was the behavior, the way how modestly she invited. What doubts did Edla had about the peddler? And if you remember, she at once caught him that he has either come from a jail or he has done something wrong. When did the Iron Master realize his mistake? So that was when he was called by them at their home and he was after shaving and all caught. What did the peddler say in his defense when it was clear that he was not the person? The same philosophical lines which he was earlier thinking that this world is like a big rat trap that he said. Why did Adela still entertain the peddler even after she knew the truth about him? And this is a very interesting question because this shows the character of that girl, and here there is a hope of transformation. So, as it was Christmas Eve, as she was very happy that somebody has come, and after a long time she was going to enjoy. So, all these things made her to entertain even after she knew the truth. When at about 10 o'clock they came back from the church, the young girl she felt depressed. At church, she had learned that one of the old crofters of ironworks had been robbed by a man who went around selling rat traps. So there they realized when she came back from the church, she was looking very depressed. The reason was she heard the story how that rat trap seller had looted a old man. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said her father. The father was very angry and he said, I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. Yes, he must have stolen from our house also. The wagon had hardly stopped at the front steps when the iron master asked the attendant whether the stranger was still there, and he added that he had heard at church that this man was a thief. The attendant answered that the fellow had already gone and he has not taken anything with him. On the contrary, he has left some little package for Miss Will Manson, and as a Christmas present, he has requested to accept it. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up that the contents came into view at once, and she was filled with happiness. She found a small rat trap, and there were three wrinkled 10 kroner notes inside, and not this much. There was something written in large. Honored and noble miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you. In return, as if I was a real captain, for I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief. But you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside, the money which he had stolen from the window frame. The rat trap is a Christmas present for you from a rat who would have been caught in this world's rat trap if he had not met you. But you have made this man, you have raised this man to captain, because in that way he got power to clear himself. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain Von Stahl. So, in this way, this line is showing the total transformation of the character of the crofter. And now there are two questions. Why was Edla happy to see the gift left by the peddler? And why did the peddler sign himself as Captain Von Stahl? So she was happy to see the gift because he was suspecting that he might have run away from with all the things of her house. Instead, there was a gift. And the second question is, Captain Von Stahl was the same captain who was her father's friend, and he was supposed to be a gentleman. So he signed there because now he was completely transformed and he was treating like a captain. The behavior is also right here that he has accepted his folly and he has given back all the things he has stolen, as well as he has given a wonderful gift to the host. And in this way, this last line, Captain Von Stahl, the signing is suitable.